Welcome to episode 31 of our series on the surnames of Appalachia and the American South. As we've mentioned every week during this series, there are thousands of surnames in these regions. So, to make our task more manageable, we're focusing on pre-Civil War surnames, the old ones. That's because the Industrial Revolution of the late 1800s scattered thousands more surnames across the fruited plains, and some of them no doubt made their way into major cities in the South as well as certain coal mining areas in central Appalachia. Each of the family names that we'll examine today was requested by members of our YouTube community. You might note that I discuss surnames in the order that I received them, and I appreciate the opportunity to serve as a resource for you. I also appreciate your patience as I make my way through the names still on our list, and the names still keep coming in, and I really appreciate it. By request, I'm posting an email address to the Vantage Point in the description, so you can request a surname catalog if you want one. It contains all the surnames that we've covered up through this week. So, today on the Vantage Point, we'll be talking about 9 Appalachian and Southern surnames. All but one of them is older than the Norman Conquest. I hope you'll join me. Let's get this show going. Number 1, Brown. To say that Brown is a ubiquitous surname is no understatement. It started its existence as a Teutonic surname for one who had reddish-brown hair. That's why there's so many different forms of the name found among the peoples of the continent, like Eva Braun of Germany and among the long-standing Catholic families in Ireland. Brown entered Great Britain and Ireland with the Normans. In Ireland, though, it also stems from an old Galway tribal name. It's found in Scotland, and it's the 26th most popular surname in Wales. Unless one has a paper trail leading back to the origin of one specific line, it would be tough to call Brown anything other than a Teutonic surname. Number 2, Hartley. When I was a kid, it seemed that there was only one smiling, gorgeous blonde lady that kept popping up on virtually every TV show, and it wasn't Doris Day, by the way. She was also on the old original Star Trek series, and yes, I watched every one when it originally aired. Can you guess her name? It was none other than Marriott Hartley. At any rate, Hartley is an English toponymic from Kent, the southeastern shire in England, or from Cumberland up in the northwestern part of England. Hartley arrived in Scotland from Westmoreland in 1298. It doesn't appear to be among the common surnames in Wales or Ireland. Depending upon where one's line originated, Hartley can be considered an English or Scottish surname. Linguistically, though, it's English in derivation. Number 3, Fletcher. Okay, as I write this, I'm fighting the urge to talk about Chevy Chase's Fletch movies, so I'll resist. The ER on the end of the name is a clue that it's something to do with a person's job or performance of some kind, and as it turns out, that's what it was. It's Teutonic or French for one who puts feathers in arrows. That job was called an arrow fletcher. I'm not proud to say that many of our majors in college today are less relevant. But anyway, the surname is found in Scotland, where it's considered a prominent English family name. It's not found among the more common names in Ireland or Wales. I see no reason to disagree with George Fraser Black. I think we should consider Fletcher an English surname with French linguistic roots. Number 4, Hildebrand. I was excited to receive a recommendation for Hildebrand because my sister-in-law is a Hildebrand from the Ozarks of Missouri. This surname is of Teutonic origin. Like Brown, it's found among the descendants of the Anglo-Saxons in Great Britain and among Germans in Rhineland and the Bavaria. Henry Harrison says that in Great Britain, the name meant war brand. The German variety has connections to the notion of war as well. At the end of the day, we don't find Hildebrand among the common surnames of Ireland, Scotland, or Wales. I think that we in Appalachia in the South should consider Hildebrand a German or Anglo-Saxon surname. Like the surname Brown, Wood could just call it a Teutonic surname. Number 5, Duggar. Have you ever heard of the French word Duggar? According to the Dictionary of American Family Names, it's the most likely source for Duggar or Duggar. It meant dweller by a garden. Other online sources, however, point to several other origins and an equal number of meanings. I'm not convinced, though, that garden is correct either because French jardin is the word for garden, and it starts with a J. I am certain, though, that Duggar is an Americanized version of perhaps several different names. Nonetheless, the most credible source claims that it's of French origin, so I suppose we could stick with calling it that until more information suggests otherwise. Number 6, Dalton. Do the names Grat and Emmett Dalton ring a bell? How about the foiled bank robbery of October 5th, 1892? It happened in Coffeyville, Kansas. The Dalton brothers led one of the last gunslinging bank robbing gangs in the old American West. Bob and Grat Dalton were killed in their last bid to get rich. Brother Emmett was wounded, captured, and served 14 years in prison. When he was pardoned in 1907, he went to Hollywood where he got married and parlayed his fame into 2 book deals and a few movie roles. He died in 1937 at the age of 66. The surname Dalton has 2 origins, Old English and Hiberno-Norman. In England, it was toponymic for a dweller at a farm in the Dale. In case you're wondering, a dale is a wide valley. In Ireland, Dalton was carried by a family of Normans who were originally called. Not only did the name morph into Dalton, but the family also became completely hibernized. For folks down in the Tater House Holler, that means they became completely Irish. Today, I think we could call Dalton an English or Irish surname, depending on where one's line originated. Number 7, Bunch. The surname Bunch is among the more common surnames that I've come across in my years of living in Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Mississippi, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. Whew. Wherever they kept U-Haul trucks, I guess. The surname Bunch is of local derivation near the city of Perth in Scotland. As you might recall, I lived in the village of Dunning, which was about 10 miles from Perth, headed towards Stirling. That's because several common surnames in my home area of Tennessee originated in the Scottish county where I chose to live. I was there doing research on the connections between Scotland, Ireland, and the American South, especially Appalachia. Bunch is not common in the Isles outside of Scotland, so I think we have little choice but to call Bunch a Scottish name. It's not a Scots-Irish name, though. Number 8, Hardwick. This Old English surname was given to someone who lived on or near a marshy pasture. I found that moose in the American West up in the Rockies, they love to live in those kinds of environments. So perhaps there was a breed of cattle back in ancient England that liked to live in those kind of environments as well. Anyway, Hardwick does not appear among the more common surnames in Wales, Ireland, or Scotland. I think we'd be correct in calling Hardwick an English family name. Number 9, McWhirter. This surname conjures up memories of being a poor student at Tennessee Technological University, otherwise known as TTU, back in the 1980s when I was a student there. We had a governor in Tennessee. His name was Ned Ray McWhirter. He had served as the Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives from 1973 to 1987. He was then elected to the governorship and served in that office until 1995. McWhirter is the quintessential Scots-Irish family name. It originated in Scotland as a form of the Scottish Gaelic. Being heavily concentrated in Ayrshire, which is located near the Irish Sea, members of the McWhirter family moved across the North Channel and settled in the Ulster area or Ulster counties of Armagh and Antrim. While it's completely possible that Scottish people with the name McWhirter moved directly to Appalachia and the South, it's more likely that they came from the Ulster Scots relocations that started en masse in 1717. I think we in the South can be confident that the McWhirter name is of Scots-Irish or Scottish derivation. Well, friends, that's all I have for you today. I hope you got something meaningful out of our discussion, and if you did, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I invite you to check out all the videos on the Vantage Point. In addition to the Surnames of Appalachia in the American South series, they cover a wide range of topics, including climate change in the Bible, yes, it's there, and the Great Blizzard of 1888. I plan to pick up work on the Mary Queen of Scots series soon, so please check out part 1 if you haven't seen it. If demand warrants it, I'll be back soon with another episode on the Surnames of Appalachia and the American South. I hope to see you then. God bless you and yours. Bye-bye.